Hello and welcome to Starting Points, where one thing leads to another. Here's an example. Last time I shared this book about a tiger in the bush and said that the tiger was the Tasmanian tiger, sometimes called the Tasmanian wolf, and that I would speak about it a little bit this time. And I knew I had some information on him, so this reminded me of this beautiful book that I got in a thrift store. It's called Rare and Beautiful Animals of the World by Francisco B. Salvadori, and illustrations by Piero Cozzaglio. My apologies. With the panda on the title there. So now, does it have something in there about the Tasmanian wolf, the Tasmanian tiger? Yes, it does. Under the name of thylacine, a thylacine. And they're marsupials with the pouch. In fact, I almost see, if this were down there, almost the kangaroo-like look in the head from the angle I'm looking at almost looks like a kangaroo's head, or it could look like a wolf's head. And the stripes is where it gets its markings on its fur, how it gets named tiger. Well, this is an account of when it was last in a zoo, 1931, in the London Zoo. The last one died. They didn't have any success in breeding it to keep it alive, and in fact, there was a little period of time when people slaughtered them. From 1888 to 1909, more than 2,000, almost 2,200 of them were killed. If you wanted to raise sheep, I can understand that having this creature come to visit you and your lambs would not be a happy visit. Same with the wolf, right? So it is not, has there been some sightings. The last one mentioned here was in 61, but the general consensus is that this is extinct, but one doesn't know. Tasmania is a big enough island, and there's enough kinds of vegetation and things that they could be there somewhere. The eye from Madagascar that we heard about when Gerald Durrell went there. I want to shift past all these mammals, many of them of which you would know, and that some we've talked about even, to look at the condor. This amazing bird. I learned quite a bit in this book by Robert Mesta, Condor, Spirit of the Canyon. It's not only California, but also in the canyon area of Arizona. And its numbers, thanks to the work of Robert Mesta, have increased. The numbers of the great auk have not increased. The great auk was extinct. Let's see, my memory's not that great, so I'll have to have a look. The last great auks were killed in 1844. Interesting to see the painting in the two sort of views. This white patch is on the eyes to the outside of it. And so it would be the same on the other side. It's quite an interesting marking, and it amazingly captured this sense of the bill and the feather. The artist so the great auk. Now, I found out more about the great auk reading this book by the writer Alan Eckhart, and he does a masterful job of it. You may have read his book called Incident at Hawks Hill. I hope to share something from that at another point. He also wrote nature things, and I want to share something from this one called The Wild Season, and things on First Nations and the settlers and historical fiction, as well as nonfiction. The Great Auk. And the dodo. You might want to look into this book by Dick King Smith. Dodos Are Forever. It's very short and a very touching, delightful story. You would know Dick King Smith probably from his book called The Sheep Pig, though the title that they chose for the movie they made of it was Babe, so originally called The Sheep Pig. The dodo. Passenger pigeon. When I get to looking at John James Audubon, I think we'll talk a little more about the pigeon then. And the same with what I used to call a cockapoo or owl parrot. I didn't know the other name, but the cockapoo. That's not the way to pronounce it. But the beautiful feathers on both those birds are just so. Here's the book put out by Cy Montgomery and photographs by Nick Bishop. And I've shown you one about the that they both did about the island New Guinea tree kangaroos. Here's another island creature. It disappeared off of New Zealand, survived on one island, but animals were able to swim across stouts and now it's at Codfish Island. They've got a population with lots of people working and ensuring that it's safe and that it may come back. So their numbers are coming up slowly, and it tells me how to pronounce it. Not cockapoo, Larry, it's carcapo. So I have one thing in summary, something from Jeannie Baker. Another one of her picture books is called The Story of Rosie Dock. And in the back, she sort of ends with this: Rosie Dock is not native to Australia. It was introduced from North Africa or Western Asia. Since then, seeds have blown their way across South, Central, and Western Australia, where Rosie Dock continues to spread. And here gives you a little bit of an idea of what spreading might look like. And there's the rabbits there, and of course the rabbits were brought by settlers, thinking here's an animal that reproduces rapidly and is was tasty to eat, unlike the dodo, which sailors and people said just tasted awful. But it was food. Throughout the world, often with the best of intentions, people introduce plants and animals into a new environment with enormous unforeseen consequences. Without their normal predators, some non-native plants and animals multiply so quickly they change whole landscapes and push many native plants and animals to extinction. Well, it's something we hear about, and it's loss of habitat, invasive species, snakes, cats, things like that play a part. And thanks for joining me. Until next time, bye for now.